This is the difference between all of our wild US Gulf shrimp and how to tell which ones you should buy. Every morning starts with putting hundreds of pounds of ice in our display case. Now we're gonna put our trays in the display case. The shrimp that gets the biggest tray is our best seller, and it's considered Florida's most popular shrimp. That little knock kind of locks them in their place. When those are full of shrimp, it's just a beautiful display. All right, I'm gonna start us off with our slowest sellers. These are Gulf Whites. These are jumbo Gulf Whites. The jumbo size are 10 to 15. When you see that count in shrimp or scallops or other shellfish, that means you get 10 to 15 pieces per pound, and it's a little deceiving because usually whenever you see a number count, what you're getting is almost always to the top end of that. So on the 10 to 15, they're almost always more like 14, 15 to a pound. So we will often tell customers, you get about 15 to a pound instead of telling them 10 to 15, and then they get home and they're always 14 to 15. So because the Gulf Whites aren't our best seller, they're gonna go on one of our smaller trays. Broken ones like this can't be sold in the display case, but we don't toss them. They go into our shrimp salad. Next up, we've got our Gulf Browns. Our Gulf Browns are also gonna go on one of our smaller trays because they don't sell half as much of the next one that's gonna come out. Gulf Browns are gonna be slightly firmer than a Gulf White, slightly sweeter. And for our biggest tray, we have the wild Key West pink shrimp. These are gonna be the firmest, sweetest out of the 3 varieties of Gulf shrimp in the display case. And I don't know about the rest of Florida, but I know in our seafood market, Key West pink shrimp sell more than 2 to 1 of every other variety we carry. And not only are our jumbo Key West pink shrimp getting a tray that's more than twice the size of our jumbo Gulf White shrimp, but our large Key West pink shrimp are gonna have a larger tray as well. Unlike the other varieties, we've got 2 different sizes of the Key West pink shrimp. We have the medium Gulf Browns between the 2 different sizes of Key West pink shrimp for 2 reasons. One, it makes it so that way the large and the jumbo don't get mixed up with each other, because if a pink large goes into a brown or a white pile, it's easy to separate them back out. Whereas if they were right next to each other, it'd be a little harder. But also, having the browns and the whites surrounding them, it makes those pinks pop even more. We have one more wild US caught shrimp going into our display case that recently went viral for being caught in really shallow water right off the east coast of Florida. But first, we're gonna put in a bag of Argentinian red shrimp. These are not US caught, but they're beautiful shrimp, they're delicious, and people love to see them in the display case. Their colors really pop next to the other species. And right here, we've got a bag of rocks, and I'm talking rock shrimp. These guys are recently coming in really close in the South Atlantic, and they're absolutely delicious. We put them in the display case already peeled into vein. They get their name rock shrimp because they're small, their shells are really hard, they're mostly shell, they're a pain in the butt to peel into vein, so our customers wouldn't buy nearly as many of them if they weren't already peeled into vein. All right, now it's time to answer the question, which one you should buy. We've got Gulf Whites, Gulf Browns, and Key West pink shrimp. These are all wild Gulf shrimp. The whites are gonna be your softest, mildest shrimp of these 3 varieties. Your browns are gonna be a little bit firmer, a little bit sweeter. Your pinks are gonna be your firmest and sweetest. That, in a nutshell, is the most important things to know. And then now, what you do with that information is figure out which one to use for which dish you're making. So if I'm making a dish where I want the shrimp to absorb more of the flavor of the sauce that I'm making, whether I'm making a pasta where I want the shrimp to absorb more of that flavor, or a marinade, the whites, being a softer shrimp, are gonna absorb more of that marinade, more of that flavor. It's more of a blank canvas, is what I'm trying to say. Not only is it a softer texture, but it's milder tasting. It has less of its own standalone flavor, which makes it a great option if you just want the shrimp in your dish, but you don't want it to be the star of the show. Browns are gonna be your happy medium. They're gonna be a little bit firmer, a little bit sweeter. Unlike the pink, they don't have such a powerful sweet flavor that it's going to become the star of the show where you want it to be more subtle, but it meets you in the middle. A little bit firmer, a little bit sweeter. It is a great all-around shrimp. And now, Florida's most popular shrimp, the Key West pink. We sell an absolute ton of these. Everyone down here loves the Key West pink. It's gonna be your firmest, sweetest. It is gonna have the most flavor. So if you want your shrimp dish to have less flavor in it, this is not the shrimp you want. Out of all of these, the Key West pinks are gonna be what I would choose for grilling because its firmer texture holds up nice. It is also my favorite. I think this is arguably one of the world's best shrimp for a shrimp cocktail. because it has that firmer texture and that sweet flavor, it has a really satisfying crisp snap when you're biting into these nice shrimp when you're making a shrimp cocktail. And for me personally, I don't want my shrimp for a cocktail to be limp. I want it to have a nice crisp snap. And the Key West Pink's gonna be one of the best options out of every shrimp in the entire world for a shrimp cocktail. Then for an added honorable mention, we've got Florida rock shrimp and Argentinian red shrimp. Now Florida rock shrimp, because of their size, obviously have an incredibly quick cook time. Something you should know about cooking shrimp is they cook really fast, and even when you have big ones like this, they're gonna cook really quickly. They go from perfectly cooked to overcooked in a flash. So when you have smaller shrimp like this, you have to be mindful of how you're cooking it to make sure that you don't just totally obliterate these shrimp. Two of my favorite applications for rock shrimp are tacos and omelets. Omelets, they cook super quick, so it's a perfect option for this. Tacos, heavy season, quick blacken, and if you get that blackening hot enough, you're gonna get that browning really quickly, and that makes these a great option for that as well. If you're making a soup or a broth or anything like that and you wanna add rock shrimp to it, you're gonna wanna add it at the very end after your soup is already completely done cooking, and they'll cook just in that simmering broth very quickly. Now, we've got the Argentinian red shrimp. Now, these shrimp have the softest texture out of all of these, even compared to the Gulf whites, which are the softest between the white, brown, and pink. These guys have just a really soft texture, and their shell is really thick and hard. One of the coolest things about the red shrimp is that their shells make a phenomenal broth. These shells ooze pink, and because these shrimp have a mild lobster-like flavor, the shells and the broth and the stock you can make from them is really, really good. Now I mentioned Key West Pinks are my favorite for shrimp cocktail, and when I'm making shrimp cocktail, I often like to peel and vein my shrimp ahead of time. But a lot of the flavor is in your shell, and you don't want to be throwing away your shells if you're peeling and veining them ahead of time. What you want to do is you want to take the shells, cook them down, get the flavor out of your shells first, and then throw your shrimp in that boiling water. This is a 10 to 15 Key West Pink shrimp, and a shrimp this size at a roaring boil is fully cooked in just 3 minutes. Make sure you have salt and a bay leaf in that pot. 3 minutes, it'll come out perfect every time. When it comes to peeling and deveining these shrimp, you want to look at the top of the shrimp. You can see a little bit of its vein sticking out right there. You want to take your deveiner tip, push it right through that spot, and there is a tunnel that you're following along with that vein. You want to push it down. And with shrimp cocktail, a lot of people like to leave the tail on. So I'm going to tuck the tail down and push forward just like that, popping the deveiner out, then push. And then you can just run your finger along the shrimp, and you got the vein, which is its poop line, and its shell off in one go, just like that. Then we're going to want to circle back around and just take off any little excess imperfections or legs that are left on there. And that's how easy it is to peel and devein your shrimp. That works for every single one of these. Now we have from softest to firmest. You can even push on them and you can feel the different textural difference even when they're raw. Now, if you're peeling and deveining your shrimp ahead of time, obviously you can pull your poop line out. But I'm sure you guys have all been at a restaurant, you ate peel and eat shrimp. Well, if you ate peel and eat shrimp, you likely ate the poop line, and that's okay. It's totally safe, probably has extra minerals and whatnot. Have at it. If you have any questions about these shrimp that I didn't answer in this video, comment below and I'll try to answer as many of your questions as possible. I hope this video helped you guys pick the perfect shrimp for your next dish. Thanks for watching. Have a killer day, y'all.